the way I heard it was, economics drives everything and can essentially be the thing that smooths out all these other rough spots. And we are developing, we are in a world economy, it's a global economy, and if we are able to trade, we're able to have friends. Trade is creating friendships.
But I'm not saying this want to make us friends, but I'm saying, why do we want to make enemies out of something that's now turning into where we're all connected? Do we really want to be going around saying Islam is a religion that talks about killing, and when in reality there are a few select passages you could go and quote and say yes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you talk to any Muslim and honestly get the true answer to what Islam is about, it is about peace and about justice. And the reason why a lot of times we mistake them hating us sometimes is that sometimes they feel unjustified, and maybe for the right or wrong reasons. they feel there's no justice in the system sometimes, because we are becoming more and more enemies every day. So why don't we try to find a way to solve this instead of just saying there are enemies and this is going, because for the most part it's terrorism that is the problem. And I know how you're trying to say radical Islam, which in some cases yes is true, but Islam as a religion is a peaceful religion that does want peace and does want justice. And
I disagree. I think if you look all over the world, if just picture a map of the world, and you look at the actual conflicts that are going on throughout the world, the hotspots, those just pop up or circle all over the world. Whether you're talking about Indonesia, subcontinent, Africa, throughout Africa, of course the Middle East, going up into the stands. It's always, in every case, it is Islam, this peaceful religion, bumping up against something else. It's not a religion of peace. It is a religion where 1.5 billion and 1,200,000,000 people adhere to it. Certainly every one of them are not consumed with an abiding hatred of anybody that's not a Muslim. But to be a good Muslim means to live under Sharia law. That's what it means. Sharia law is the thing you try to establish.
But at the same time, we have to remember, Islam does come from Judaism and Christianity. All three are connected, and they still believe in the Ten Commandments. And what I think you're making a mistake here is saying is that just because there's a war going on and it's backed by somebody who is Islamic doesn't mean that everybody in that country is begging for war.
What do you do about the fact that it is an Islamic conflict? You can't ignore it. You can't say, I wish you could say that not all, we don't have to worry about Germany because not all Germans were Nazis. That was the case. There were plenty of Germans who were just Germans, who went to work every day, who did their thing, and if you asked them, they'd say, I'm just trying to keep a roof over my head, that's all, and I couldn't care less about all this political stuff. If you asked, I'm positive that there were Japanese who, even though they were committed to the emperor, were not committed to a world conquest. Is that the reason then that we should simply have ignored the build-up of the Japanese empire or the threat of Nazism? Because some people in the country, even a majority, a pretty big majority, didn't buy into the rhetoric of the leadership. We have to. It goes back to understanding what I said earlier: who it is you're actually at war with, what it is that motivates. Think about it.
That's my point, though. Who are we really at war? Are we at war with people?
Islam. I said it 15 times.
I know what you're saying, but I think really what we're at war is with the governments that are using Islam as a way to control the people. And
this is a discussion we could have for a lengthy time. But I do really, in fact, I have the name of the great tape, this DVD that it's called "What the West Should Know About Islam." If you get a chance, are you part of the college? Robert Spencer is Robert Spencer is on it. So is the author of that book I mentioned. His name is Sergei, and I can never pronounce his last name, or something like that, who is the author of Sort of the Prophet. But Robert Spencer is very, very, I think, he writes something called Jihad all the time. And I think his analysis is and I think it's worthy of you're taking into consideration.